Light will guide you on the way to the ultimate life.
And now no one can stop me!
Hello everyone and welcome back to the mid-season finale of the Super Smash Bros. Cinematic Universe box office records. And we have a lot to talk about today. So let's get going, shall we? Let's start with the Super Smash Bros. Anniversary Watch, where we check if Smash Bros. Franchises are given their dues for the year. Let's not start with Donkey Kong. The less we talk about the DK challenge, the better. So instead, let's move on to Zelda, where they showed off on the June 9th Direct Ocarina of Time remake. Finally! They also showed Dragon Quest, which they had Dragon Quest Monsters, the Withered World's first trailer. Though for Castlevania, we're going to have to venture into dangerous territory. Namely, the Xbox Games Showcase that took place on the 7th of June, Sunday, where they showed off who actually is the protagonist of Castlevania Belmont's Curse. I was right. The character is a girl, Rose Belmont. Aside from Rose, we also got the release date, October 15th, 2026, which isn't the one for the Switch 2 release. Apparently that one's coming later. Now to Sonic. Sonic had some interesting news recently. We had the news of Godzilla and Evangelion coming to Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, as well as the two games for the 35th anniversary being Sonic Pico Park and the web app called Sonic Me. Okay, let's hopefully get some more stuff on Sonic Central. Now how about we take this time to look at the fighters that were added this year to Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. In January we had Kim Jae-hoon. In February we had Nightmare Geese. In March we had Blue Mary. In April we had Wolfgang Krauser. In May we had Mr. Karate. And this month, in June, we had Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star. Now, it's Pokemon's turn. On the June 9th Nintendo Direct, Pokopia had an update featuring Bubbly Basin and other DLC packs to follow within the year. And now, back to the Xbox Games Showcase, where they featured Persona, specifically Persona 4 Revival, and then they announced Persona 6, with no release date for the Switch 2. And it doesn't stop there, as Mario invades Donkey Kong, Star Fox releases in a few days, Fire Emblem gets this price, Xenoblade releases 3 games within months of each other. Oh yeah, and Xenoblade Genesis. Splatoon releases next month. Street Fighter gets Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII gets its final game release date. Minecraft gets a new game. And Kingdom Hearts gets game keycards. Now let's take a look at the newest episode of the Super Mario Galaxy movie review. And I will see you in Domestic. After the story, Mario and Luigi exit the cave with Yoshi in tow to leave with him on their bikes. They think they lose him and they look away in the crowd, but when they try to go for a ride, Yoshi is on Luigi's hog.
So Yoshi decides to steal Luigi's motorcycle, so him and Mario, I guess they decide to race. Luigi is on the back of his bike with Yoshi, and Luigi is like scared to death. Honestly, if it was me, it would be so much fun to ride on the back of a motorcycle with Yoshi.
In the next scene, we reconnect with Rosalina, where we get the first demonstration of the magic paintbrush's power. That has to be my favorite device in the entire movie. So far it has made art, made it come to life, then it summons goo-based monsters like it did in Sunshine. While Rosalina gets engulfed in goo, her Luma flies off to get help. Coincidentally, this is the same day as Peach's supposed birthday, and Mario wants to give her a present. But this is no ordinary present. No. Just wait until you see what's inside. In a moment that proves they really care about each other, even after Peach says she doesn't like birthdays, Mario, being coy, has given her the parasol! That's right! The one that she uses in Smash for an up special.
The parasol that Mario got Peach was very, very cute, and you can tell from the expression from Mario that he does have a crush on Peach. He just doesn't want to admit it.
That's a very good point, babe. As a certain ape sparked that fear inside him in the first movie.
You're so embarrassing! A princess would never go out with you!
That jerk. This is the lie he currently believes. That he's not good enough to be loved by a princess. The lie in the first movie was that his persistence was a hindrance. It's the age-old imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is an internal psychological experience where you feel like a fraud or doubt your skills and accomplishments despite the external evidence of your success.
Yes, I know what that feels like.
Mario is convinced that being a plumber stops him from Peach's appreciation of him. After that very moment, the princess excitedly opens her present. What follows is a star storm alluding to Galaxy Star Festival, but is instead our inciting incident. They go off to find what fell, only to find a crater with pink smoke. What emerges is the Luma that went off to find Princess Peach to save his mama. That Luma is the call to adventure, or the herald. But in comes the Toads, urging her not to go. And we have our refusing the call. Again, the main character doesn't have to say no, but there has to be some friction. So, her adventure is about to begin. The Luma becomes a launch star, and off she goes. Remember how pipes work? Well, Lumas have that function now. They are the gatekeeper. Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi are tasked to take care of the Mushroom Kingdom, after a very cute letter reminiscent of the beginning of Super Mario 64, meaning their status quo is still in progress. A lot of tasks ensue, defeating Ember Bros after a stolen coin, fixing a fallen ice cream cone, stopping a wild chain chomp, saving Blue Toad from a giant Cheep Cheep, and getting him home after a team strengthening gauntlet. Finally, we see Mini Bowser, who has become our trickster. You saw it from the trailer, but listen to this.
I'll burn the skin off your bones!
Very interesting. And coincidentally, their inciting incident follows. Bowser Jr. comes to take Peach's castle like Bowser does in Super Mario Galaxy, pulling it straight out of the ground. Like Pac-Man Snack Breaks, which gets another episode 5 days from now as of recording, this series will continue even as this show is on hiatus. Now let's take a look on domestic. And on June 20th, we have $429,648,000. And this total won't be updated until October, when Street Fighter is out in theaters. Now let's take a look at international. And from overseas, we have $576,248,440. You know what this means, folks? We have the big one! Get ready! So, I was perusing on June 7th of all days on the numbers, and I see that domestic is at 428,528,000, then international is at 571,501,000. Then I see the total, and it's $1,029,000. That's right, the Super Mario Galaxy movie has reached the billion 3 weeks ago. And the current end of the season, on the first day of summer, my girlfriend's birthday, we have 1,596,740. Now let's take some time, instead of Super Smash Bros. History / secret level, we will have the show debut of Food for Thought. And I will see you at upcoming films and shows. So by now, it's no secret that Winds and Waves is out in 2027. Gekwa is very likely based off the native geckos of our next region, inspired by Indonesia. Pombon is a Pomeranian mixed with a bonfire, not bonbons, Lofton, which is a popular dog breed in Indonesia that was bred from sled dogs. Don't you worry, I'll get to this guy eventually. But what about the grass-type starter Brout, the one that uses its eyebrow leaves to photosynthesize? What's his deal? Now how about some food for thought? Sprout, a portmanteau of brow and bean sprout, is based off the nutritious legume by the classification of Ciceraritinum, or Phaeolus vulgaris, of the family Fabaceae, the subfamily Faboideae, with many names like gram, Bengal gram, Trinidad, Egyptian pea, the garbanzo bean, or, of course, the chickpea. They are specifically a pulse, which is an edible, dried seed exclusive to the legume family, which also includes lentils, beans, and dry peas. They require less water to grow and emit less gases when planted. It is one of the earliest cultivated legumes, with the first coming from Syria, domesticated alongside wheat, barley, peas, and lentils during the first agricultural revolution. Its closest relative being Cicer reticulatum, the wild ancestor of the chickpea. That's native to southeastern Turkey, instrumental to adding the power of resisting pests and diseases, as well as other fun traits to its DNA. But how did chickpeas find themselves in Indonesia from Syria? Likely they got there via ancient maritime trade routes inspired by the spread of agricultural practices from the continent of India. That's right, you can add Brout to the list of imports from Poke India, alongside Cufant and Indian elephants, as well as mongooses like young goose, as they use chickpeas in salads, soups, stews, and curries. India specifically accounts for 75% of the chickpea's overall production. The chickpeas grown in Indonesia are the result of 100 cultivars from Hawaii, the Netherlands, and Australia. Apparently, the name chickpea comes from boonstjes, which means beans. How quaint. But more likely it came from cicer, from Latin, that sprouted around 700 BC after the Pelagians kicker, then bred into koi shish and then shish peas before settling on chickpeas. Garbanzo came from the Spanish, used as early as 1759. The term is believed to be derived from the old garbanzo, which in itself may have come from a Basque word meaning dry seed. In other words, it translates to dry seed beans. When domesticating chickpeas, there's selective breeding, as in selecting particular phenotype traits, aka characteristics, that help plants to become compatible, producing either varieties, cultigens, cultivars, or breeds. What was the most desirable for chickpeas were large palatable seeds that didn't have a dormancy period, having seeds that were easy to separate from the pods, with a predictable ripening period to allow a whole field to ripen at once. In addition, the domesticated form of the chickpea contains nearly twice the tryptophan of its wild form. That's an amino acid that has been connected with higher brain serotonin concentrations and higher birth rates alongside accelerated growth in humans and animals. As Theophrastus from Greece wrote in the Historia Plantarum as early as 350 to 287 BC, chickpeas differ in size, color, taste, and shape. There are the varieties called rams and vetch-like chickpeas, and the intermediate forms. The chickpea can be divided into 3 main types: kabuli, which are large, beige, smooth, and common in the west; desi, which are small and dark, which explains Brout's underside; and rough-coated, which are common in India and the Middle East. And the Bombay, or Bombay, known for their similar dark color to desi, but have a larger size. The desi chickpeas are nutty to the taste, rich in fiber, and used for making flour or split to make chana dal, a great source of plant protein, not complete, and a versatile ingredient in a number of sweet and savory dishes. The Kabuli chickpeas are creamy and buttery that could make falafel, those Israeli hot dogs, or after soaking overnight, cold water please, you don't want to upset its hilum, and boiled with baking soda until they fall apart, as it's normally rock hard, you could create hummus, the popular Middle Eastern dip or spread made from chickpeas blended with tahini, that's sesame seeds paste, don't you know, lemon juice, sprigs of garlic, and olive oil with a pinch of salt. Tahini supplies the creaminess and nutty flavor, the lemon juice adds brightness and tang, garlic for a kick of pungency, olive oil added into the mix and used as a garnish, with a pinch of salt giving a little flavor, and slows the absorption of water into beans when it's boiled, of course. Cool, huh? Hummus came from the Levant region of the Middle East, which includes Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan, not to mention the land of the Philistines. The name is Arabic for chickpea, short for hummus, tahini, but it's ill-advised to eat it after 2 days. Why? It could bring about the bug of listeria, a nasty bacteria. It's especially dangerous for pregnant women, very young kiddos, and even some older adults who have weakened immune systems. Listeria is unique as it breeds in colder temperatures, like the ones in the fridge, and can also be found in soil, water, and even contaminate foods like deli meats, unpasteurized dairy, and some raw produce. Oh goody. Symptoms include a fever and aching muscles, which can be treatable with antibiotics. Careful food handling is key. When you do have unaffected hummus, a serving equal to 2 tablespoons contains roughly 70 to 80 calories, 4 to 6 grams of healthy fat, 2 to 3 grams of protein, and 1 to 2 grams of fiber. It is low in saturated fat, free of cholesterol, and rich in essential minerals like manganese, iron, and folate. It helps lower the bad cholesterol, which is LDL, and reduces blood pressure. It helps maintain a steady energy flow and prevents blood sugar spikes. It also helps manage hunger and reduces an overall calorie intake. Chickpeas alone supply more than the aforementioned protein, fiber, manganese, iron, and folate. They also have copper. I'm sure Qfin would be happy to hear that. Zinc, magnesium, molybdenum, which rids the body of toxic sulfide buildups, and phosphorus, along with the bioactive compounds of tannins, saponins, and phytosterols, which oppose the chances of certain cancers and chronic diseases. It has specifically the highest soluble fiber of raffinose, that is actually a prebiotic that produces healthy gut bacteria. It also has insoluble fiber if you need some roughage. Be aware though, a lot of chickpeas in a can have a lot of sodium, just in case if that's a concern. That makes me wonder, is Brough's Down infused with hummus, or is it just the Desi chickpea flour? We'll look at the evolutions when they come available, but in the meantime, we'll explore the rest of the flora fauna that we'll discover in the Indonesia and its archipelago of islands region. Now, wasn't that yummy? Now, next, for movies, we have Street Fighter coming out October 16th of this year by Paramount and Legendary. Then we have Sonic the Hedgehog 4 coming out March 19th of 2027 by Paramount and Sega. After that, we have The Legend of Zelda movie out April 30th, 2027 by Sony and Nintendo. Following that, we have a Minecraft movie, Squared, coming out July 23rd, 2027 by Paramount and Warner Brothers. After that, we have the Donkey Kong movie out April 12th of 2028 by Nintendo and Illumination. Following that, we have the untitled Sonic movie out December 22nd of 2028 by Paramount and Sega. And then after that, we have the Super Mario Bros. Movie 3 out in 2029 by Nintendo and Illumination. After that, we have the Star Fox movie coming out 2030 by Nintendo Illumination. Then we have the films with no release date. We have Metal Gear Solid by Sony and Konami, Detective Pikachu 2 by Legendary, Mega Man by Netflix, PAC-MAN by Fox and Wayfarer Studios, Luigi's Mansion movie by Nintendo Illumination, and then Metroid movie by Nintendo, by Sony, or by Universal. Then we have the shows with no release date. We have Secret Level by Amazon Prime, hopefully this year! The Pokemon live action series featuring Red by Netflix, and we have the Minecraft animated series by Netflix. Now we have the rumored films, with Pikmin, Yoshi's Island, Kirby, Super Smash Bros., which comes after Star Fox, Bowser's, Princess Peach, and Rosalina. And we are done. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe, and smash that bell in order to get notifications on the channel where everything grows on you.